Welcome to Massage Chair Relief Live, the podcast designed to educate, inform, discuss, and critique the relatively new massage chair industry. Join your host, Dr. Alan Weidner, to become a massage chair expert and avoid multiple pain points in your search for the perfect massage chair.
Hello, this is Dr. Alan Weidner from Massage Chair Relief, and welcome to our Massage Chair Relief live broadcast and podcast with my friends from Human Touch. We appreciate those of you that are on the call now, and for those of you that listen to this later, we appreciate you taking the time to review this content for us or with us. Again, my name is Alan Weidner from Massage Chair Relief. We have Dale Shepard. He's the VP of Consumer Sales at Human Touch. And with him is Leon Liao. He's the online manager for Human Touch. And Eric Beatty, he's the manager of the field programs. And so when you see massage chairs at Costco, Eric's the genius behind that. So, or the brains behind that, however you want to spell it. But welcome, everybody. It's good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor, for having us.
Yeah. Well, now, I kind of am interested when I talk to the distributors of massage chairs. I like to get a feeling for, their feeling for what's going on in the industry, what the trends are, where we're at. And maybe Dale and Eric, you could speak to that. You have the exposure to the market, and I'd be interested to hear what your takes are on the massage chair industry as a whole and what you're seeing out there. I can share what I'm seeing, but that's very, very isolated to just me and my domain, my 4 stores. But you might have some sensitivity to the market that small fries like me don't have. So maybe we can, and then after that, I'd like to get into the 3.0, the Supernova 3.0, which is your latest model, and talk a little bit about that one in terms of features, in terms of what the motivation behind introducing that model was or is, and things like that. But and please go anywhere you want to go on this conversation. But maybe we could start with the industry as a whole. What sort of observations do you have, or trends that you're noticing or sensing in the industry?
Well, I'll tell you that it's been, as you know, it's been a tumultuous past 15 months, and we're still managing through that. It's ever changing, but every time you think you have a handle on what's going on and can start to do some forecasting based on what you have in front of you, then things change. So I would say that's gotten better on that front, and we have a little bit, what I would say, more control. So that's a kind of a negative of the industry, right? The last 15 months, but the positive.
And I want to just clarify, we're talking about the tariffs and things like that.
It is tariffs. It is the political upheaval and the war related activities, and now we're dealing with the cost of fuel. So
right.
So I guess you could say on a positive front, we've had some changes to the tariff situation, but on the negative front, now you have these fuel increases.
Right.
That are starting to really take hold in our industry. Given that we sell large products, you can only bring in so many at a time in a container. So now that part is starting to take off in terms of cost. And then, of course, you have the domestic fuel costs that are driving up the fuel surcharges that are now just hitting us, hitting the, we're getting bills for these fuel surcharges. So ultimately that has to affect prices, and ultimately has to affect the decision of the consumer, what they're going to do. It's not, of course, just our industry, but it's across the board.
I kind of get the vibe, though, and this is with all due respect to the massage chair distributors, is that they're trying hard to hide those costs from the consumers, the end consumer, and Human Touch has been great that way. I mean, obviously, there's been changes in shipping costs and even and I'm not speaking specifically to Human Touch, but there's changes in the cost of the chairs. But I think you and other distributors are trying hard to kind of hide a lot of that from the consumer, because the consumer gets overwhelmed when they hear that there's 10 or 20 or 30% tariffs they think that the chairs prices are going to go up 10, 20, 30%, and they don't. It trickles down to the customer, but I think the massage chair companies are doing a good job of keeping that from the customers.
There has been a lot of work, and going back a year ago, to try to minimize the impact. So working with our manufacturing partners and trying to minimize what happens here. We certainly have taken increases on our high-end product. Our Supernova X took an increase, but other products like our Supernova 2.0, one of our best-selling chairs, we've never made an adjustment to that price. I mean, we just run with it, and you're absolutely right. So thank you for saying that. We've done our best to minimize the impact. The tariff surcharge that a lot of companies applied to their products, we did the same on certain, mainly the lower price items in our catalog. There's just no way around that, but we did treat it as a surcharge purposely, and now those surcharges have been eliminated.
I like that
completely. So yeah, it's good for us, and it's good for folks like yourself. So that's a good thing. I will say the positive thing that we've seen over these last 15 months is that there hasn't been any kind of diminishing of the interest in wellness and the benefits of massage. I think that has continued to expand, not be impacted by what's been going on. So that's obviously had a positive impact on our sales, even despite everything that's been going on in the background. So people like yourself putting up the good fight and getting the message out, we appreciate that. And let's face it, stress has a positive impact on our business. It did back in 2020, and it continues to have that. Stress and anxiety. People look for an outlet, and so we provide products that serve that purpose. And it's great that we can do that, and we benefited from that.
I've noticed on a lot of your communications with the retailers, you're touting the health benefits more rather than just talking about whatever deals are going on or whatever sales are going on. I find that the communications are definitely more health centric, and I appreciate that because it reminds us. The thing is, you get so wrapped up in the business, sales and returns and warranty support, and sometimes we forget about what the massage chairs are all about, which is to ease pain, ease suffering, ease stress. And we tend to forget, but you guys do a good job of helping us refocus on that.
Yeah, and who does a good job of helping us refocus on it? Our customers. Yeah. So if you have a face-to-face or get a letter from somebody whose life has been changed or their relative's life has been changed, it does recenter you. And we do all need to think about that. And we talk about that with the people that work directly with us, whether it's sales rep or internal people. You're fortunate enough to be able to be in a business where you're providing a product that can be life-changing for people. It truly is. It's not just you're not just throwing that out there. So we have evidence of that. And so I think about that, and we get goosebumps thinking about that, right? So it's a good thing.
Well, we get, when people reach out to us for support and because their chair's not working, oh my gosh, for some of the folks, it's a panic because that chair has become such a huge integral part of their wellness and their feeling good and their productivity and their stress management that if we cannot get that chair fixed promptly, it's panic. That's the only word I can use to describe it. I mean, panic as can be portrayed through a text or an email, but there is a panic where they expressing that this chair has become such a big part of their health and they need it. And I don't think I fully appreciated that until we started our lifetime labor warranty. And, we, as you're aware of, we have this lifetime labor warranty we've had for years, but, people down the road, they think the chairs or have been told the chairs don't have any problems down the road. All the chairs are during the warranty period only, all the problems. And people panic. They're panicking about whether they're going to have the chair's going to get fixed, if there's even parts for it, because some of these chairs are older when the problems happen. And boy, oh boy, it's tough. But you guys have been really good with like logistics and parts and it seems to. And I also have noticed maybe a bit of a turnaround, maybe not a bit of a turnaround. I would say a noticeable turnaround in support response. And I think Kathy's involved with that, isn't she?
Yes, Kathy ultimately now is she's the head of customer service, so she's ultimately the person responsible for everything that goes on. We have a very experienced and talented team working with Kathy, and she's really taken a bull by the horns. And I really appreciate what she's done, moving from this position over to running customer service. She's done a great job.
Yeah, I would
saying
concur. And she's also she's not afraid to get her hands dirty and call me on a particular customer if there's a concern or whatever. She's we're not just left running blind. She's very accountable, and I appreciate that so much.
Well, I know she has great respect for you. So in fact, she would have been on this call, but she's on vacation. Good for her. And she definitely needed a break. But yeah, she certainly would do whatever she needs to do for you. So that's
we'll get her on the next one.
Yes.
Eric, do you have a vacation, or are you the guy that stay home and man the shop?
What's that? I don't know what that means. What does that word mean? No.
What is that? Well, the company probably thinks that, hey, you get to travel around the country. That's
exactly. Yes, sir.
What are you complaining about?
That's correct. No, I mean, no, we definitely get our fair share of time in. We're grateful for sure, but it's grateful to work for such a great group of people.
Yeah, you guys have been wonderful to deal with. I've enjoyed my relationship with Human Touch for years, and you guys are always very, very willing to participate. And I mean, you don't have to come on these broadcasts with me, but I love it that you do, and I love that you're not hiding behind anything, and you're quite willing to come out and chit chat. I mean, we've even had David on a call or two in the past years, so we appreciate him. But Eric, I just had a thought. You're kind of, and I don't know exactly how much you work actually in the in the field.
Shows, yeah.
But I suspect that you do have a pretty good finger on the pulse of it. What are you noticing in terms of the traffic, the interest in shares, the market as a whole from your vantage point, which is more closer to the street?
Yeah, that's a great question, Dr. Weidner. As Dale mentioned earlier, I mean, we continue to see an uptick in terms of people accepting that massage chairs indeed provide relief, right? Like Dale said, I mean, that's what keeps me going in this industry is when you get these testimonials from people that just how this chair has changed their life, and that's the rewarding aspect of this job is getting to hear all these testimonials. It keeps you going. Keeps you, knowing that you're literally helping people live a better life. So yeah, I mean, out in the field, it just continues to see an uptick. I mean, there is a little bit confusion out there. You see these fly-by-night companies that keep popping in, thinking that they can do stuff better and thinking it's easy to start a massage chair company. I've noticed, an uptick on that. And again, like we always tell people, we always warn everybody, like, look, just be careful because as doctor, you hear these stories, where, well, I bought this chair on Amazon for, $1,500. It looks just the same, as the one that you have. Well, I saw a Ferrari kit car that's just like a Ferrari too, but when you pop the hood open, it's not a Ferrari. So, it's there's more and more of that, as out there. And I love how you, try to inform the consumer about that. It's true. I mean, where are you going to get service for that paperweight? That now becomes a paperweight. You can't get service, and so you continue to see a lot of that. So you see a little bit of confusion out there, but it's just about educating the consumer. But I continue to see encouragement from people. It's just getting really it's just getting butts in the seats. Letting people understand that this isn't just some novelty item. It's not just something in the mall you go sit in like they always refer to or whatever. But once people finally sit in a nice quality chair, they're like, holy smokes, this does just as good as the job as my, therapist or whatever. But I'm very encouraged by what we're seeing out there, Doc. I mean, I think there's just so much more upside to this industry. And, we're like Dale said, we're grateful for guys like you that represent us well and represent the industry well and continue to help people change their lives and live a better life. I mean, that's what we're out to do, right?
Well, yeah, and I think you've touched on two different points. One is the distributors, the people that distribute the massage chairs, There's the reputable distributors that have been around, like Human Touch. I mean, you guys have been around for 50 years, I think. Isn't it close to 50 years?
It's getting close.
Yeah.
A couple more years. So
yeah,
47 years.
I think you were the first chairs I ever carried, and I've been in business over 21 years, and Human Touch was the first company that actually said, "Yeah, we'll let you sell, our chairs on your website, but these are the cat." And back then it was still kind of the Wild West. Everybody was still trying to figure out what the online channel meant to them, and the worries that they expressed, but then now you've got companies that come out, and I bought into it a couple of times. Companies that said that they kind of came across as being very legitimate and sustainable, and we bought into a couple of them, and both of them have ended up being very disappointing. But I do that because I feel like adding choice for the customer is a good thing. But boy, and Eric, you had alluded to this. People, want to just bring in some chairs and sell them and get integrated in the business. People have asked me many times why I don't carry my own line of chairs.
Exactly.
Well, I'll tell you why, because I don't think I have the energy to do what you guys do. Like you got to have a warranty. You got to support the warranty. You got to have a network of technicians. You got to have a support staff that knows what they're talking about. You've got to have a network of distributors. It's a tough, and especially when you're going against some of the mammoths in the industry, like you guys, like Osaki, like Infinity, like Daiwa, like whatever. It's very difficult, and unless you have something very unique that really sets you apart, you're in for a big battle. And so I think a lot of companies they see great opportunity. And I might add, it's mostly opportunity to make money. Yeah. But then the money doesn't come, or the challenges are insurmountable. Like they don't want to pay. I don't want to go into too many details, but they'll change their whole warranty so they don't have to cover as much as they had before. Or they try to compete with the online distributors, which are, they come and go, and it's hard to get good customer support, and a lot of them are kind of following that business model, or not a lot of them, but the couple that I've come in contact with, and others are scrapping the line that they had altogether, and they move to a smaller location, and then they come out with a new model. Yeah. But the same problems persist. We have one guy in particular. He's in Southern California, and he's trying to recruit us. We used to sell his chair brand, and I won't say what it is, but and so now he's off to another place, and he's got a new brand now. And this guy is calling me regularly to get me to carry his chairs, and I'm too nice. I'm not a very confrontational person, and so I hum and I haw, and then I say, okay, the next time I'm in town, I'll come see it. Well, then he pesters me. When are you going to be here? When's your next time? But behind my eyes and my face and my heart is the realization that I'm going to have the same problem with this new line that I had with the old line, because even though the chairs might be great, I'm going to have the same support issues and the same problems, and I don't want to deal with those. Like I care big time about customer support. As a matter of fact, and I'll talk about this, I just bring this other point up, and you guys can comment on this at any point, but there is, I have one competitor, a retailer. He's primarily online, but he cast a lot of shade on me in a video he made, and I had customers tell me about it, and other people in the industry tell me about it, that he's kind of mocking my industry my lifetime labor warranty, like it's a scam, or I'm a huckster, or whatever. And I was so taken aback by that. The fact that he would even do that speaks to the notion that he is probably not that well versed in the industry, and not well connected in the industry with other retailers and all the distributors, that he doesn't realize that tearing each other down is not going to help us. But that's the other question I have, is the retailers. You're probably getting inundated with requests to carry your chairs. I know that you're very, very selective. And I don't know if retailers tell you about some of these questionable practices that some of the newer retailers use or whatnot, but it's tough to trust the retailers as well as the brand of the chair.
Yeah, well, we certainly get requests to carry our brand, and we're certainly discerning of it. And so, yes, you're not going to see us pop up on all these sites. And Leanne and I have been talking about this. The requests are basically every other day. So these are people that are starting their own websites, people that are approaching you that have been doing things in the past. I will tell you one positive thing about all of that is that it points to a growing area, a growing business, right?
Right.
And if this was a dying industry, no one would be trying to start these websites or open stores or be pounding your door. So in that respect, both of us have great opportunity because we have reputations in the industry and we've been doing this for a while. So that's a positive thing. So we'll put up with the rest of it, I guess, because we know we can make it work. But yeah, it's a very common thing to get requests these days.
Well, and like you say, there's people figure there's money to be made, and that's usually the biggest motivator, right? It was for me. That's why I got into the massage chair industry, was to have a little side hustle to help me pay my bills, because I didn't do well financially as a chiropractor. It's a very tough industry to be in, but for me, not for everybody, but for me. And so that was my motive in the beginning, but the motive changed over time to become more of an educator, because I realized there was not much education out there. But I think it gets to be a little bit of a dog eat dog world, and I think sometimes we put others down to make us look better, and I worry a little bit about some of the sales pitches that people are getting to buy a particular chair or buy from a particular retailer. It can be challenging for the consumer to try to sift through it all. And like you say, Dale, it's a growing industry. We're going to see more and more of it. And, the cream rises to the top, so they say, but in the meantime, it's going to be tough to sift through a lot of it.
Yeah. And again, it's about who you trust. And it's as the price of our products has escalated over the course of time, and rightfully so, because of what we're doing to the products. That brand, who you're buying from, whether it's a manufacturer or a distributor like yourself, is got to become ever more important. So things like a lifetime warranty should be a checkbox for a customer that's actually looking at these products. And things like 47 years in the business should be a checkbox for, people can spend $10,000 on a massage chair. So, and I hope that they're doing that.
Sure. Yeah. Trust is a big deal. It really is a big deal. And we all want people to trust us, but sometimes we don't do the things that are worthy of people's trust. And that comes in a variety of manners. With almost every retailer has to deal with that to one extent or another. Anyways, but it's an ongoing concern, and we try to put people's mind at ease when they're spending that much money on a bloody chair.
Well, I mean, these conversations alone should do that. You get face-to-face interaction, and people can see who we are, and we're in a real place in Long Beach, California.
Hold on just a minute. We just got a little. Hold on, Eric. I think we've got two of you on here. Your twin brother. I don't know. But it's just a minute. I don't know how to. Okay. Well, anyways, as long as there's no echo, I think we'll be okay. But
yeah.
But anyways, So if you have any thoughts about that, Eric, we kind of lost you for a minute. But if you have any thoughts about what we've been talking about, please feel free to chime in at any time. Now, products. And by the way, just to summarize the first segment of this call, I think the outlook is very, very good for the industry. I mean, massage chairs, it's not like it is in Japan, where, a quarter of every, 25% of the population has a chair in their home. But, we're working towards that. And I think the American psyche is definitely over the years more focused on health and wellness. And I think chairs are going to continue to be a popular item in the armamentarium of health, wellness products. But so I think it's positioned very, very well. And then, but again, like you say, we're it's an emerging industry, even though you've been around 47 years, but online sales have been maybe 23, 24 years, 25
Yeah.
years. So it's still a very infantile industry. And so there's going to be a lot of sifting and a lot of, lessons learned. Now, the new Supernovo 3.0. Now you have the Supernovo X, which we have in all of our showrooms. We love that chair. That is like the I don't know. It's like the what's the word I'm trying to think of. It's like the I don't know, maybe like almost like the Rolls Royce or the high end. It's a high end chair, but it has so many interesting features, that make it very, very unique. And we like that chair. And there's a specific clientele that will gravitate to it. But now you've also had the Supernovo 2.0, which we had in a couple of our showrooms. But then when you introduce the 3.0, we're kind of phasing out of the 2.0 so we don't get too redundant. But tell me about the 3.0. It's more like the Supernovo X than it is the Supernovo 2.0. Would you agree with that, or how would you qualify it?
Yeah. I don't know if Eric wants to jump in on that, or did you turn off your other device? No. So
just a minute. It says maybe it just says to unmute your mic.
Yeah,
There you go.
So,
There's that. Do you have it? What's the other? Is there another device that's trying to get on with us? Oh, here, just a minute. Okay, I just kicked you out. The other one. The other Eric.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead.
I can't hear you guys.
Oh, dang.
that's too bad.
I'm sorry if you guys can't. I can't hear you. I don't know what's going on.
You sound good. So anyway, we'll move on with the 3.0. But you're absolutely right when you talk about the 3.0 being similar to the X rather than the 2.0.
Yeah.
Certainly the design.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Certainly the design is similar to the Supernovo 3.0, but the mechanism, having dual mech feature, is similar to the X. So there's that. It's a happy medium, right? And so it's been very well received. I know you don't have it on your floors yet, but hopefully you'll do that soon. It's been very well received where it has been sold, and so we're very, very excited about that. The interesting thing is Super X sales continue to be strong as well. So it's not cannibalizing that particular customer. It is a different customer, and so that's great to see. So as you said, there are people that will gravitate to the Supernovo X because of some of the interesting features to it. And then of course the Supernovo 3.0 has picked up where the Supernovo 2.0 was. So we're very excited about that. The key changes to that chair, of course, would be the dual mechanism, and then the introduction of a true artificial intelligence model that allows you to basically have endless massage program designs, and that's fascinating. So
nice. Well, now you've had various iterations of the Novo and over the years, and some you've discontinued and kind of phased out. What are the plans for the 2.0? Is that still going to be a marketable chair? Is it going to be in just a different distribution channel, or what's the plan for that?
I would say both at this point. So you'll see the 2.0 still being featured for the next several months, and there is some other channel activity with that particular chair. So it'll be part of our inventory for a while.
Yeah.
So yes, that's what will happen with that chair.
Now, I noticed. Well, it's hard not to notice that there's a consistency in the body type of the Novo line of chairs. And and I like that, because if you need parts, it's probably going to be a little bit easier to get parts for the body and for the chair. I assume that you have some parts that can be modified slightly to accommodate the new chair. But how typically, how long do you hold on to parts of a model? Is it just like years? Is there a particular time frame that you carry the parts even after it's discontinued?
Yeah, we generally carry parts for 5 years after we stop selling a model. So we do have that longevity with the parts, and certainly there will be parts that sell out, or we just don't have enough to get through that 5 years. But that is the goal, and that's the forecast. So so a good long time, and those parts are all readily available here in Long Beach. So it's a big portion of our warehouse space, but that's the service that we provide. The comment you made about the design on the Supernovo and how it's been pretty static over the course of time. There have been slight changes to it, but we actually consider that look to be part of the brand and part of the legacy of the chair. So we've been really cautious about not doing anything. I guess you could say it's similar to what you would expect with a long-term car model, where you have similar aspects in the design, the aesthetics of the car, but certainly there are other things under the hood that are different. So we try to follow that model to a certain extent, and I think we've been very successful with the aesthetics of that chair. Obviously, it's done very well over the course of time, and so we're a little wary of veering off of that.
Yeah, well, I like it. I think it's a nice design. I think you were, if not the first, one of the first to have that the pod body shape, and of course that has become quite popular with many models with different distributors now. But it's when I can spot it in a Supernovo. You know what I'm saying? Like I can tell. Sometimes when I look at chairs, I can't now. What brand is that? It looks. I think I've seen it before. And sometimes I have trouble pigeonholing it into a particular brand, but when I see your chair, it's like, oh, it's a Novo, that's a Supernovo, and that I think is nice because that's a brand familiarity.
That's exactly what I'm referring to. So that recognition is important to us. So that's great to hear.
Now, the 3.0, the dual mech and the roller mechanism. Now we all know that the split tracks and the flex tracks and dual mechanisms has become kind of the rage, right? Just like L track was all the rage when they first started coming out many years ago. Do you foresee, or have you done any? I know you guys are big on development because you do come out with new models, not tons, but they're like when they come out, it's like, oh, okay, this is a big deal. It's not like this is an iteration of a previous model, a subtle iteration, and we'll give it a different name and market it through a different channel, which is a business model. That's fine. But I know that you guys put quite a bit into development. Do you have any input, and can you even talk about like where you see these roller tracks going in the future, or changes in the chairs technology over in the years to come? I'm not sure if I've got any feel about that. Sometimes I wonder if there's going to be a massage chair that can massage the quads, or going back to your old Navitas that had the rollers on the calves, not behind the calves, but on the sides of the calves, which I thought was phenomenal. But that chair didn't get a lot of traction. What kind of technologies or advancements, or do you have any idea of anything that's maybe being worked on or coming down the pipe?
Well, it's a fair question. I'm not sure that it's a good forum to discuss the thing that might be coming down the pipe, but it's a fair question.
You mean like trade secrets and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, I don't.
No, I get that, and I didn't mean that, but like,
yeah, no, I know you didn't mean it. But
where we're
we've
going,
had these conversations before, so it's not, it's not surprise. But look, I think what we're looking at right now is the integration of AI into utilizing what we have with the mechanisms, which my experience to this point has been, it's been pretty dramatic as far as what we were able to accomplish with that. And so chairs, again, here we go back to the check-a-box thing where that's 24 programs, that's 36 programs, that's 38 programs. Yeah. But does that really matter? Well, I'm not sure that it does. And because people are going to use how many programs? 8, 6? It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's what do you like? And so what we're seeing with the AI capabilities of the Supernovo 3.0 is that you can be very specific about what you want it to do, and it will tailor a massage. You're not going to do it. It's going to do it. to try to rectify your issue. So, and not only will it do that, but it also will change it over the course of time as it learns more. So it's a very, I think, a very new and very exciting feature to the chair without doing dramatic changes to the mechanisms.
Right.
Your point about the quad massage and some of these other things like the Navitas used to do, and that's an important point because the Navitas used to do it, so it existed those many years ago. Is really what is the acceptance by the customer, and is that something that's really going to be in demand? So I think one of the things that we try to do is find information through folks like yourself that what are people asking for? What do people want to have done? And is it something that's mechanically possible? So you learn a lot of what we do in Asia, right? Because of what you mentioned earlier, the acceptance in the Asian market and Asian community of massage and how they incorporate into such a high percentage of their homes. Yeah. That's where a lot of the developments come from, because people have certain demands and they're so knowledgeable and they're so aware of their bodies and what they're looking for. So I wish we could do more with the American audience and customer base, but we just don't have that exposure to people. Yeah. I mean, we still have people that try chairs that have never tried one before, right?
Yeah, all the time.
Hey,
so yeah, I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that.
Well, this AI business is all the talk right now, eh? And before AI in massage chair industry meant the sensors for blood pressure or pulse and perspiration and things like that. Even though I don't consider that AI, I just consider that a medical device that's been transposed into a massage chair. And we've had those devices forever. I use the term forever loosely.
Yeah.
But the AI with the tracking feedback of the roller mechanism on the spine, on the muscles of the spine, I think this is the closest thing we're getting to AI, where the rollers come out, sense the tension of the muscles, and that feedback goes back to the computer, and then it adjusts the tension of the rollers on the customer's body, on the muscles. That's the closest thing I've seen to AI. But I don't understand AI very well. My son is actually at BYU in a computer science program. He's in his last year, and his specialty is AI. And you know, I haven't even talked to him about it. Like how can AI affect massage chairs? But I'd be curious to know, because I think we're just hitting the beginning of this whole AI business, and it's in the news. It's everywhere. It's going to affect our product sooner or later, but it'll be interesting to see what it does, what it can do, or what the potential is. I don't even know what the potential is.
Well, I mean, no one knows what the potential is, but I can tell you what it can do now, and what we truly have a learning language model with the chair. So it is communicating outside of the chair, and it will develop over the course of time, just like everybody's heard about in the AI business. I get a little nervous about what our industry is doing with AI, and they're tossing it around, just like they tossed around zero gravity when it first came out, and they really weren't zero gravity chairs. That was our baby back in the day.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and so we, now it's ZG, but is it really ZG? Is it really needs above the heart? So it is today, but back in the day it wasn't. So AI is kind of the same way. Well, we had voice command on chairs. Great voice command. You could tell a few things, and it would do a few things. And then we introduced virtual therapists, which was more of an interactive Amazon-based, Alexa-based program that could actually understand what you're saying and do things for you. Now, same thing. So this is AI truly developing over the course of time and improving what it can do for you over the course of time based on what you're asking it to do. And it is an interactive model. And I think it's going to have a big impact on what we do with the current technology that's in the chair. So that's great. One of the other things about that is that our chair now can be updated remotely. And so you can solve issues that you might have with your chair. If we have programming updates that are available, we can provide that. You don't have to replace your chair. I mean, these are huge steps forward, and the Supernova 3.0 allows that to happen. So that's really a big important step moving forward.
So you're talking about, are you talking about programmatic changes you can make over the air, or like with, is this where you're going with this? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So it's not only from a serviceability standpoint, but also from the ability to change programs. So yes, it's over the air. We go back years ago. We were the first chair company that incorporated app use with the chair. So we had a HT Connect device, and that through your Apple your iPhone app could control the chair. But one of the things that the app was allowed us to do is to change programs. So we could actually add or remove programs on the app that we could never do with the chair itself, of course. So now we have that capability to do it. We could do this with all the Supernova 3.0s that are out in the market.
Well, and you used to use the app, or still use the app, for creating profiles of each user, right? And it was unlimited. Is that correct? I think the profiles you could create were unlimited if you use the app.
I believe that was the case. Yeah, if I remember correctly.
And now you can create profiles with the 3.0.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't used it, so that's why it's more of a question. But is it unlimited also, like it used to be on the app, or how many profiles can you create?
You create 3 with the 3.0. And the reason why, the whole point of that was because of the AI. You could just tell it what you want, and just vocalize it. Like I played golf yesterday, my back sore, my lower back sore, right? And it's just gonna kind of tailor to whatever your needs are at that moment in time.
Right.
That was the whole thought process behind that.
Yeah.
So
and you can, and those 3, you can memorize those 3.
Right.
At the same time, if you repeat something that you did in the past, and you repeat it verbatim, it'll bring up that same massage.
Interesting.
It may tweak it some from the past, but it'll be the same. If Eric was to say every day, I tweak my back playing golf, it wouldn't necessarily be something that's stored in the chair, but it would repeat that massage. So in a way, it does have that capability of being endless in its memory bank.
No, I haven't seen the 3.0 yet. I've seen pictures, but I have not seen it live. Does it have the same kind of remote as the other ones, or is it a completely different remote?
Touch screen. It's a completely different remote, Doctor. One of the other cool features about the 3.0 is you could actually isolate. You can basically control the compression, in different areas of the chair. So if you just want the feet, to lower the compression on the feet, you can do that. Increase it, decrease it. That's one of the key highlights of it. You can also control the speed of the rollers, in certain areas. These are some of the other cool highlights. Another big thing about this chair, Doctor, is it'll accommodate people up to 6'9", and maybe perhaps even 6'10", like legitimately, and hit their neck. That's something. We had a guy at CES was almost 6'9", and it literally, the rollers would actually hit his neck, which is uncommon.
Yeah.
And that's something it's kind of unique about our chairs in general. I like to say they're more American sized, if you will. They accommodate bigger bodies, taller guys, and obviously any body type for that matter, but particularly we can accommodate the taller torsos and people with longer necks or taller. So
well, and your pod body also accommodates a wider body.
Correct.
Right? So you can handle a body with more girth and
yes, sir.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So it's great to have that.
Are you calling the AI component? Are you using the term 5D? Because a lot of companies are starting to use 5D, and this is kind of reminds me of when the 4D thing came out. I remember I'm a boomer, okay, and it's I sometimes the things that I go for are literal. So when someone tells me there's a 4th dimension with a chair, but now it's become standard verbiage that 4D means, a changing of the rhythm or the speed of the rollers in the 3-dimensional model. But now the 5D is the rollers coming out, and what we just talked about, sensing the tension and then throwing feedback back to the computer. They're calling that 5D, and I'm sure we're going to see more and more of that title. Have you guys embraced that term yet?
No. And we will be the last to embrace these terms because first off, when the 4D came out, 4D was actually what you described as 5D. That was what 4D was supposed to be. So we were probably the last ones to adopt 4D as a terminology for that ability. So highly unlikely you'll see a 5D description in our marketing anywhere soon. And maybe that's a detriment to us. I don't know, but it just seems like these can be explained other ways, and just keep saying 4D, 5D, 6D. I don't know where you're going with it because, like you said, you're a boomer, and most of the population doesn't understand what you're trying to say when you say that. So,
well, it's a marketing term.
It's marketing.
Eh?
It is exactly, yeah.
So
it should have something behind it.
Yeah.
But sometimes the marketing becomes so strong and so pervasive that everybody just embraces the term. Like L track, and then they changed it to SL track, and then people got confused. Well, is this an L track or is that an SL track? I want SL track. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's all the same, but the marketing created these iterations of words and descriptors that just screw people's heads up, and they don't know what they're getting. I remember one customer that did not buy a chair from us because we told her that it has S and L track. It has it both. And she thought there was only, I can't remember exactly, but because of the semantics of the word that was used to describe SL track, she didn't buy from us because another website said it's strictly an L track. That's all I want. I just wanted an L track. Oh, okay. All right. So it can be confusing for people. But it is what it is, and as long as there's an industry, there'll be terms coming up for all kinds of stuff.
And going back to that 5D, if you were to tell us that, look, you guys really need to embrace the 5D, just like you said, embracing the 4D. If that's the message you're getting from the market, that's when we start to make decisions regarding that. So, because the chair is probably already at that point demonstrating the properties of what's being called 5D in the market, just like the 4D piece. And so, yeah, then we'll make decisions to come along and play the game. I mean, going back to the 0G piece and then the ZG and everybody calling them, that we gave up. I mean, it's everybody's calling whatever they want is 0G. We refused to play that game. We stuck with the original definition of zero gravity. I'm hoping that AI doesn't go there, but I think it already has. Yeah. And, that's not true AI, but they're using the term in all their marketing. So, the perfect chair that we sell is a great example. Perfect chair was always built on the idea that it was going to be in a perfect zero gravity position. Yeah. And the legs and the back were not independently controlled. But we had competitors that started to come out with products that allowed for independent control, which is not necessarily what we were trying to achieve. And so at some point, we finally had to make the decision that was going to be incorporated into the perfect chair because the market told us that we had to do it. And so we have.
Yeah. It's like you create you're Pablo Picasso and you create a painting and someone comes along and says, dude, you can't have a painting with 3 eyeballs or whatever. And so Pablo Picasso says, yeah, okay, I guess we better change that to 2 or 1. I'll go with 1. It's kind of like the market is trying to define what you do. But you know what? When it comes to mechanical and electronic things, I guess sometimes you just roll with it, and because it is an easier way to describe it. Like 5D. How do you describe 5D? Well, you can either say, well, the rollers are going to do a scan on your body. They're going to sense the tension of the muscles in your back. And then whatever that tension is, it's going to feed it back to the main computer of the chair. And then the chair is going to alter the tension or the pressure of that roller so that it matches the change in the tension of your back during the program. So you'll have maybe thousands of iterations. Now I could say that, or I could say I got 5D.
Yeah.
Well, and then when people call you and say, I want a chair with 5D in it, and you say, well, what is 5D? Do you know what 5D is? No, I just want a 5D chair. Oh, okay.
That's right.
It's just more than 4, so it must be good.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should come out with a 10D chair, Doc. What do you think? Should we start naming it, 8D? So it's got eight rollers. I mean,
well, it's one of the companies I did carry for that one of the ones I was talking about, they called one chair 8D because it had 8 rollers.
Yeah. No, that's what I was referencing to. Yeah.
I agree.
know that, yeah. Yeah.
Not,
So that's the problem with all that. I'll give you one more. It used to be, and I think we've finally gotten away from that, but for years it was how many motors does your chair have? Do you remember
Right.
that? How many motors does your chair have? Why do you want to know that? Well, I want to know. I would say they got 20 motors, they have 30 motors, but why is that important to you? Because the reality is the fewer motors that it has, the more efficient it is at doing what it does. And so you're not looking for more motors, you're looking for a smaller number of motors.
Yeah.
But try to have that conversation with somebody when they're all looking for the most motors. And that was always a struggle for us because we always work to have fewer motors, fewer things to go wrong, more efficient motors, less energy. It was just always the goal. And finally, that's kind of gone away.
Yeah.
Well, and people like me perpetrated that, I'm afraid to say, because we created these comparison charts.
Yeah.
The number of airbags, the number of programs, the number of motors. And I contributed to creating our own hell, because then people will come into our showroom and say, okay, how many airbags does this have?
Right.
Which chair has more airbags? It's like, oh
right.
my gosh. You in 5 chairs or 2 chairs, one with 100 airbags and one with 50, and you would not feel the difference.
That's
or
right.
The bloody motors. Yeah, we created that problem for you distributors. I'm afraid I'm part of the problem, not the solution. But it is what it is. I thought I was being really cool back in the day.
Yeah.
What's that?
Quality, not quantity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and regarding the motors, we always tell people, listen, if you have 7 motors, that means 7 things can break.
Yeah.
And of course, maybe less, maybe the whole chair won't be affected, but with one motor, you got one thing that's going to break. You fix that and it fixes everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, we created that monster, and that I helped create it, and we've all perpetuated it. So I'm sorry about that. My apologies.
We've survived.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but you know what? You know who cares most about stuff like that? Very analytical people, like engineers and accountants. And it's funny because they'll come into our showroom and they'll say, hey, okay, which one has the most motors, or how many airbags does this one have? And then we'll ask them, are you an engineer or an accountant?
Yeah.
And we're almost correct every time. But see, they're analytical, and so you gotta please the analytics. And then there's others that are all about just the feel. It just feels beautiful, and it may be bare bone chair feature and a cheap chair, but for them it's just perfect. So we got to take care of everybody, I guess. But that's my excuse.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think that's all I've got. Is there anything that you guys would like to add in exiting the call?
I mean, we're just, we're grateful to have you as as an ally, as a partner, Dr. Weidner. We truly are. I mean, we're grateful for what you do for the industry. I mean, you're just, you're the most integral, I would say, most integral person, in my personal opinion, most integral person or dealer in the industry, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we appreciate what you do. I mean, like you said earlier, we're the first company you ever did business with, and I think that's very cool, very exciting. That you started off with Human Touch, and you're still with us, going strong. And we want to continue to fight the good fight with you. Continue to
Well, thanks. I appreciate that very, very much. It means a lot to me. That kind of stuff means a lot to me. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
And I enjoy working with you guys. I mean, you're on this call. That shows that you stand behind your product. You're not afraid to talk about it. And I appreciate that a lot.
Yes, sir.
Maybe we could do another call to talk about the zero gravity recliners. That's something we've never really talked about. I have them on my website, the ones with the airbags, the motorized ones. But that might be something to talk about, because I to be quite honest, I'm not as well versed on those as I am on these multi-feature massage chairs. So maybe that's a topic for the future. We can broach.
Yeah, we'd love to do that. It's a big part of our business, and it's a different experience, but it's, again, from a therapeutic standpoint, they're great products. So, yeah.
Well, and weren't you pretty much the first company to bring out these zero gravity recliners?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
you've had them for decades.
Yeah.
You're like the pioneers of it.
That's right. Yeah.
So we like that. So I can't believe we have never talked about that before. That we need to do that in the future.
That'd be great. We'd love it.
Well, thanks, you guys. Great to see you again. Really great
to see you.
Thanks for
Thank you.
participating. I don't know when this will be posting. We sent it to an editor to kind of go over a few things and maybe add some fancy little things. But when it's up, it'll be on our YouTube channel for sure, on our Facebook page. So if you want to share it with anybody, please do.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate that.
Thanks, everybody. Liao,
Thank
good
you.
to meet you. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
being
sir.
on the call.
Thanks,
Okay.
Doctor.
Have a great
Appreciate
day.
it. Yes,
See
sir.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Massage Chair Relief Live podcast. Subscribe to this podcast and be notified of each episode. Check out our main website at massagechairrelief.com for much more valuable information on the massage chair industry and marketplace.